Hello dear students, welcome back to physics online class. So we were discussing about that viscous force here. So what's the mean of that viscous force here? Just I will recall that. So in case of that viscous force, viscosity or viscous force we can consider. So it is the property of the fluid which makes that relative opposition between the layers of the liquid, so that we can call it as viscous force, right? So in case of this viscous force, already we got that this viscous force depends upon the area of the layer and as well as it depends upon the velocity gradient, right? So by taking use of those dependent factors we can able to write that expression for that viscous force. So viscous force which is equal to minus of eta dv by d of x. dv by d of x represents that velocity gradient here and this is area you can consider, right? So this is the mathematical expression for the viscous force. So here negative sign represents that viscous force and the motion of the layers of the liquid are in opposite direction. What is the significance of that negative sign here? Negative sign signifies that viscous force and direction of the flow of fluid is in opposite direction. For example, let me take that streamline flow here. For example, if the fluid is flowing in this direction, viscous force is acting opposite to the direction of the flow of fluid we can consider, right? For example, in case of this container, right? So for example, if that temperature of this liquid is increases, so as a result of increase in temperature, whether viscous force is decrease or increase here. So as the temperature of the fluid is increases means its viscous force is decreases here. So remember one point here, as the temperature increases, as the temperature increases, as the temperature increases, viscosity decreases. Viscous force is getting decreases here. Now we shall discuss about that what are the practical applications we are having related to this viscosity here. So practical applications we will discuss. Practical applications. What are the practical applications we are having related to viscosity here? So needs to understand about that viscosity. By knowing the concept of viscosity, in case of friction, so in order to avoid the friction we will use that lubricants, right? So in case of that laws of motion topic we come to know that about that friction and advantages of the friction. So in order to reduce the friction value, so we need to use that lubricants here. So lubricants, it may be a grease or oil. So what kind of lubricants I can use here? So those lubricants must have that high viscosity. So high viscous lubricants can act as a good lubricants here. So lubricants must have high viscosity. Lubricants must have high viscosity we can consider. So this is the advantages of understanding that viscosity. So high viscous lubricants gives the effective reduction of the friction here, right? For example, in case of that constructing the vehicles or constructing automobiles, for example constructing the ship and all the things, so we can able to avoid that viscous force here. For example, in case of that automobiles, whatever the air we can consider, that air can oppose the motion of the vehicle here, right? So I want to avoid that viscous force here. In order to avoid that viscous force, in case of that most of the automobiles, so so that a front means the front part of the automobile they are going to make it as a sharp in shape, or so in such a way that they can able to manufacture those automobile vehicles in a such a way that so those vehicles can avoid that viscous force here. So whatever the viscous force is acting, if that front shape is very much sharp means so air is easily it will get split here. As a result of splitting of the air, viscous force is decreases, whereas in case of the ship, so front part they are going to make it as a sharp here. So if they made that front shape as a sharp, so that sharp shape can easily split the water, so it can avoid that viscous force here. So in case of that automobile, in case of automobile, case of automobile vehicles are designed in such a way that it can decrease the viscous force. And one more example I am giving here. For example, in case of that canals, so that canals are going to make it in a V-shaped structure here, so like that. So if they provide that this kind of V-shaped structure to that of canals here, look at here, as the area of contact is decreased from that top to the bottom here, area of the contact is getting decreased from top to the bottom. So at the bottom side, area of contact is less here compared to that of top side here. So in case of this canal, upper part of the fluid is moving with a greater velocity. So look at here, in case of that water canals, they are going to construct that water canal in a such a way that so they are going to construct in a V shape here. The purpose of giving that V shape is so as you move from that top to the bottom, that area of contact is decreases here. So anyhow, fluid means viscosity is depends upon that area of the layers we can consider. The area of the layer is decreased from top to the bottom here, right? So because of this reason, here area is more, so fluid is moving with greater velocity at the top compared to the bottom. So these are all the applications related to viscosity here, right? So related to the concept of viscosity, we will understand that one more law related to fluid dynamics is Stokes' law here. So according to that Stokes' law, when the body is moving in a viscous fluid, for example, we'll consider one container here. Let me take one container. That container is filled with the fluid. Imagine that fluid is moving. So this fluid is under the motion. When the body is dropped into this fluid, so imagine, as I said, that fluid is moving. So don't consider this is static fluid. Fluid is under the motion. I will take one spherical body here, right? So if I am going to drop the body in case of that viscous fluid, then here different layers of the liquid will make opposition for the motion of this spherical body. So did you get my point? So from that Stokes' law, when that spherical body is trying to drop into that of viscous liquid, so different layers of the liquid may oppose us the motion of the spherical body, right? So what are the various forces are acting on this spherical body we can consider. So what are the various forces are responsible for the make opposition for the motion of this spherical body we can consider on the basis of Stokes' law. So in case of that Stokes' law, so according to that Stokes' law, he suggests that according to Stokes' law, according to Stokes law. So we can consider according to Stokes law when a spherical body of radius r. So this spherical body having radius r, and this body is moving with certain velocity. Spherical body of radius r moving with velocity v, and coefficient of viscosity of the fluid is eta, I can call. Coefficient of the fluid is eta. Then viscous force act on that spherical body is 6 pi eta. So we can consider that Stokes law here. So when the spherical body is trying to drop into that of viscous fluid, then this spherical body having radius r and it is moving with the velocity v, and coefficient of viscosity of that fluid is eta, 6 pi eta into r into v. So this is about that viscous force. Okay, so from the Stokes law we got that expression here, viscous force, which is equal to 6 pi eta r into v. Right, now what are the various force act on that spherical body, I can able to understand here. So we'll discuss about that neat applications related to Stokes law here. So various force act on the body. For example, initially when the spherical body is dropped, that body is accelerating here. So initially when the body is dropped, it get accelerate here. Wait a minute. So consider fluid here. So imagine that the fluid is moving here. I will take one spherical body, small spherical body having that radius r. It is moving in a downward direction, then it get accelerate. So when that spherical body is moving in case of that fluid, means here weight of the body is acting vertically downward direction, and buoyant force and viscous force is acting in opposite to the direction of the weight of the body. Then we can consider weight of the body. So body is getting accelerate, means weight of the body is greater than the buoyant force plus of viscous force. So did you get my point? Weight of the body, when the body is accelerating, at the time weight of the body is greater than that of buoyant force and viscous force. Then acceleration of the spherical body I want to find out here. Acceleration of the spherical body is so what's that acceleration of the spherical body? Acceleration which is equal to, right? So force act on the body, right? In case of that force, we can consider that W, which is greater than weight of the body, which is greater than that of buoyant force plus of viscous force. F of B means buoyant force, whereas F of V means viscous force we can consider, divided by mass. A is equal to F by M we can consider here, right? Where W, which is equal to m into g. So mass we can consider as a density into volume. So if it is spherical in shape, so 4 by 3 pi r cube into density of the body. So weight is equal to m. So m means volume into density into g we can consider here, right? So buoyant force we can consider, F of B we can consider, whereas buoyant force we can consider that buoyant force means again that spherical body 4 by 3 pi r cube. Here I can consider that density of the liquid. So this is weight and this is about buoyant force. Weight is acting vertically downward direction, buoyant force is acting vertically upward direction. When this spherical body is moving into the liquid after traveling certain velocity, means after traveling certain distance. So here up to that liquid is there. Initially this ball is accelerating. Initially from this point to this point the body get accelerate. After traveling certain distance, this spherical body attains that terminal velocity here. The word terminal velocity means the body attains a constant velocity after reaching a certain distance here. Terminal velocity. So after traveling a certain distance, body attains a terminal velocity. When the body attains the terminal velocity, then weight of the body, which is equal to buoyant force plus of viscous force. When body attains terminal velocity, when body attains terminal velocity, then weight of the body, which is equal to buoyant force plus of viscous force. Shall I write that viscous force, which is equal to F of V, which is equal to weight minus of buoyant force? In order to calculate that viscous force which is equal to what? Viscous force which is equal to weight minus of buoyant force. So I have that weight value, means weight I can consider as 4 by 3 pi r cube. So here also 4 by 3 pi r cube. Here density of the ball, here density of the liquid. So I can write directly 4 by 3 pi r cube into g. Rho of B means density of the ball minus of density of the liquid I can consider. Whereas viscous force, shall I write this equation 6 pi eta r into V? So look at here, 6 pi eta r into V. Here V is nothing but terminal velocity. V of t represents that terminal velocity here. 4 by 3. In order to find the terminal velocity, this is the required formula. Rho of B minus of rho of L we can consider, right? So this is 9. So here one R term is getting cancelled out here. So shall I write that terminal velocity formula? So V of t, which is equal to 2, here 3 into 3, 9 we can consider. 2 by 9, here pi term is getting cancelled out here. Here r square term is there into g divided by eta rho of B minus rho of L. This is the required formula for the terminal velocity. So this is about Stokes law here, right? Next thing, in case of that fluid, so we can consider that flow of fluid, I can consider streamline flow as well as turbulent flow here. What kind of flow we can consider as streamline flow and what kind of flow we can consider as a turbulent flow here? In order to understand that streamline flow and as well as turbulent flow, we can understand by that Reynolds number here. So take this as minus here, weight minus of buoyant force plus of viscous force. Okay, so next we'll discuss about that Reynolds number here. So Reynolds number which gives that information about that whether the flow is streamline or turbulent here. Reynolds number, right? So in case of that Reynolds number, so it is a dimensionless quantity. Dimensional less quantity which gives an information about streamline and turbulent flow. So by taking use of this formula, Reynolds number which is equal to R of E which is equal to rho into V into D divided by eta we can consider. Look at here where rho is nothing but density of fluid here. V represents that velocity, we can take velocity of the fluid. Here D represents that diameter of the pipe in which fluid is flowing, where D represents that diameter of the pipe in which fluid is flowing, where eta represents that coefficient of viscosity. So how can I say that the flow is streamline or turbulent here? For example, if that Reynolds number value is less than 1000, then that kind of flow we can consider as streamline flow or laminar flow here. Look at here. If Reynolds number is less than 1000, then that kind of flow, after calculating that value, means after filling this value, if you get that Reynolds number less than 1000, then this flow we can consider as streamline flow, or also we can call it as laminar flow. If that Reynolds number value will be more than 2000, if you get more than 2000 value, then that kind of flow we can consider as a turbulent flow. That kind of flow we can consider as turbulent flow here. If that Reynolds number is greater than 1000 and less than that of 2000, then how can you say that flow of fluid here? If that Reynolds number is greater than 1000, less than 2000, means then that streamline flow is getting converted into turbulent flow. Streamline flow is converts into turbulent flow. So look at here, the flow of fluid may be streamline or turbulent. I can understand on the basis of Reynolds number. It is a dimensionless quantity. So if this value is less than 1000, then I can say that flow of fluid is streamline. If its value is greater than 2000, I can say this as turbulent. If suppose its value is greater than 1000 and less than 2000, means I can say that flow of fluid is streamline. That streamline is converts into turbulent flow. So hope you are understanding these things.